Hi ladies, how are you? Nice seeing you. Thank you so much for coming. בעזרת השם, שיהיה גמר חתימה טובה לכולם. We're talking now about Yom Kippur, which is a day of atonement. Let's start with a story. So there was this girl that was about to get married, needed to get married already. She was looking for a guy for a long time. And she found someone, but he didn't have any profession. And he didn't have any savings. Okay, so she decided that she pays all the bills. She bought the apartment herself. She paid all the bills for the wedding. She bought him his clothing. She furnished the house. She paid for the band. She paid for the, all the expenses, Baruch Hashem, for wedding. And just wanted them to start fresh, to start happy, everything should be okay. And Baruch Hashem, the wedding passed on, everything was nice. Morning, right after the wedding, so the groom went to the store to buy something. He went, and he never came back. She waited for him 1 hour, 2 hours, she started to get worried. What happened to him? The whole day passed, he didn't come. Night fell, night became nighttime. She was so worried, she started calling the police, she called her parents, she called his parents, she called his friends. Where could it be? Where? She went to the store, police started to search for him. No sign, don't know where he is. A week passed like that. A month passed like that. No sign at all. She was very lonely, she felt very bad, she was very upset, obviously, and so embarrassed of what did she do? She paid for everything and then it disappeared to her. She was very upset, she didn't know what to do. On her first anniversary, she was sitting alone in the house, and then she hears a knock at the door. The guy came from nowhere, holding a nice bouquet of flowers, asking her a million times, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. Now what should she do? Should she accept him? Or she just, tell him to go away? She decided that she welcomes him. She holds herself. She has a lot of complaints, of course, a lot of things on her mind, a lot of questions that she wanted to ask him. But she held herself, and as they were talking the whole night, she was depending on her hopes and on her dreams and on her love. Didn't ask him questions. The next day, he goes to the store to buy something, and he never came back. The whole year she didn't hear of him. This time she didn't involve the police, she didn't even call her parents, she didn't even tell them that he came for a visit. She was so frustrated, she was so disappointed, she was crushed, and you can understand. And then, on the second anniversary, the bell rings or whatever, and he comes again with a nice bouquet of flowers, apologizes a million times. What now? Should she accept him? This time she was very cold, and she asked him, what do you want? He's like, something? You were very kind to me. Besides buying me my clothing, my stuff, my everything, you also let me be a co-signer on our account. And I withdrew. I was taking a lot of money, and it's empty now, the account. Can you put some money because I need the money? What is this story? When it comes to Yom Kippur, in a way, we are like this groom. And let's try to see what happened. Where is this Yom Kippur coming from? Where did we start? What was the first Yom Kippur ever? So, thousands of years ago, when we got the Torah, right? On Chag HaShavuot, Moshe went to heaven to accept the Torah. For 40 days he was in heaven. When he comes back, he came 1 hour late. What happened? The Jews made a terrible sin, the golden calf. And Moshe, he started punishing people. He was very upset, this and that. He went back to heaven to ask for forgiveness from Hashem for the sin that the Jews did. Some say he went 2 times, 40 days each time. Some say he went 3 times, 40 days each day. And on Yom Kippur, when he came back, Hashem told him, Salachti kidvarecha. I forgave the Jewish people. It was Yom Kippur. They were asking, praying, and Moshe comes and he says, yes, Hashem forgave us. This is the first Yom Kippur ever. And since then, Hashem decided that Yom Kippur is going to be a day of atonement, a day that Hashem forgives forever. And once a year, Hashem is not like us, like human being. He opens for us the door. He lets us come in, and he doesn't ask questions like, where have you been all year long? And that's not fair. And I don't want to look at you, how dirty you are, how many sins you've done towards me. He welcomes us all, and he wants us to make tshuva, to do tshuva. He wants us to repent, to come back to him. This is a great chesed, a great act of kindness from Hashem towards us, and this is what we're talking about today. Not only this, listen to this story. There was this rich man, okay, that he was very good man, and he dealt with wine. He used to have he used to do a lot of wine. He was a wine merchant. He had in his cellar all kind of rare and expensive wines, and he used to sell it to the people. One day a big rabbi came to town, and he invited the rabbi to come to his house. So the rabbi comes, and they were talking and about Torah and food and drinks and this and that. And then he told his servant, go downstairs to the basement, give me a very expensive wine. It's in this and this barrel. I'll tell you exactly where. He told him exactly the description, where is the barrel of the wine, and he should take wine from there. He waits for him and waits for him and waits for him, and he's not coming back up. He doesn't see him. 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, he's not coming back. So he himself went down to see what happened. Already as he comes down the steps, he smelled something bad. He smelled the wine. And as he went down the steps, he saw that the whole floor of his basement is flooded with very, very expensive. All his wines are all, apparently what happened, this servant, he didn't trust his owner, the master of the house. He went from barrel to barrel, opened the tap, and wanted to check if it's a good wine or not. He tasted all of them and he became drunk because it's a very high percentage of alcohol. And these faucets are still open, and the wine is running, all became all flooded. The rich man got so upset at him. First of all, he embarrassed him in front of this rabbi. He's waiting, and he's not coming. And then he lost all, he made a big damage. It's very, very expensive wines. He holds him. He was looking for him. He was drunk. He slept in one of the corners of the basement. He takes him. He starts shaking him up. He says, what did you do to me? What damage did you do to me? Why did you do that? What happened to you? And this servant is still drunk. He says, yeah, I wanted to talk to you. I need you to give me a higher salary because I worked for you for such a long time, this and that. We come on Yom Kippur full of sins, full of problems, Lashon Hara, didn't do this, we're not so strict about kashrut, we're not so strict about this and that. And instead of asking for forgiveness, we ask, Hashem, Parnasat Torah, Hashem, a wedding for our children, Hashem, give us health, Hashem, give us wealth, Hashem, give us this, give us that. So in a way, we're the same thing. But Hashem wants us to do tshuva. He doesn't mind. He wants us to repent. He wants us to come back, and He's fine with this. So let's talk about this. If God forbid, some sauce from the food spilled on your skirt, right? So you probably won't go outside like that because it's dirty. It has a stain. You would like to clean it. So you clean it with some water, to make sure that no one sees this stain, and you're okay with this. But if you have to go to a certain event, you have to go to a wedding, you have to go to, people will see you, this and that, it's not only enough for you just to clean it with some water, you want to clean more. You want to make sure that you take a very good soap and you rub it and clean it. Make sure that that it's going to be cleaner. And if you have to meet a very, very important person, like a king, like somebody important, that you depend on him so much, you want him to, I don't know, to give you a job or to grant your life or something, you're going to try to clean it even more. You're going to give it to the best laundromat, to the best, and make sure that they clean it so well until no impression of any stain stays on this garment, on this skirt, to make sure, because when you want to appear in front of the king, you want to make sure you look presentable, you look nice, you look good, right? And it's interesting, it says, Rabbi Akiva says, מי מטהר אתכם? Who is cleaning you? Who is purifying you? Hashem. Hashem is the one that purifies you. So if we give all our hearts to Hashem, we want to get closer to Him, we want Him, He is going to clean us. And it's so important. The question is, how do we get cleaned? What do we do to get clean? How do we get pure? For this, to get clean, I would like to focus on one subject, because Yom Kippur is so many subjects. And the subject I wanted to speak to you about is to know how to ask for forgiveness from people and how to forgive. Many times, we don't know how to do these simple things, and they're not simple, And let's talk a little bit about this. I'll give you an example. People think that they forgive. People think. There was this couple that the guy was already close to age of 70. One day he came late, and his wife was waiting for him half an hour, and he didn't come. So the minute that he came, she told him, even in our second meeting when they were dating, when we met, you came half an hour late. And I was so humiliated, and I was so upset. Hello? So many years passed since then. 50 years. He's almost 50 years passed, and she remembers that on the second date he was late. It means she never forgave for this thing, and women forget. Women remember, They say that Hashem created man from the sand, but the woman from the bone. So, if anything, she remembers. So people, for example, send in WhatsApp, they send, oh, please forgive me if I did something to you, if I spoke something to you, and they send it to big groups of 150 people, or I don't know, please. This is not calling forgiving. This is not asking. This is not the way that people ask, and this is not the way that people forgive. What is really forgiveness? Let's talk about Yosef HaTzadik. When Yosef HaTzadik was sold by his brothers, he was young, he was 17 by that time. And then the brothers went to Egypt, and Hashem took care of him. He became the king in Egypt. He was fine, he was rich again, he had his status, everything was okay. When Yaakov Avinu passed away, the brothers were frightened. They were afraid of Yosef. They didn't know if he will avenge from them now or not. Because as long as the father was living, they will be okay. But what now? Especially as they buried their father, he went through Kever Rachel, Bethlehem. He was crying next to his mother's grave. And then he went through the pit, that they threw, and he said, Baruch she'asa li nes b'makom hazeh. Thank you, Hashem, you made a miracle. I didn't die at this place where the only snakes and scorpions were there. So they were afraid that he said, remember these places, he's going to avenge on them. So they come to him and they tell him, you know, our father asked us, it wasn't true, but they say our father asked us that, you know, you're going to forgive us and take care of us and this and that. What was Yosef's response for this thing? Did Yosef forgive them for them selling him, humiliating him, selling him to the Egyptians for $20? You know, did he forgive, and all whatever he went through in Egypt with the wife of Potiphar, with being in the jail, with all whatever he went through, being disconnected from the father, okay? Not learning Torah with the father, which we cannot understand even what it is. I want to tell you, Yosef, it says, was Bechir Sheba Shvatim. He was the best of the best. He was the elite of all the Shvatim, of all the tribes. He used to sit with his father and learn Torah all day, and you can understand what type of Torah they learned. We cannot even describe whatever they learned. So he was supposed to be having the Keter Torah, the crown of Torah. He was supposed to be elevated and become a big Talmid Chacham, be something very, very special. All of this in one shot, in one time, was cut off because of the brothers. Cut off. He was disconnected from his father, and they loved each other very much and couldn't continue learning Torah. Instead, Yaakov learned with Issachar, and Issachar became Sar Torah. They say that he became Chamor Garem, Ovetz Ben Mishpatayim. All the Rashei Sanhedrin became from Issachar, because the Torah, he taught the Torah to his children, and it continued to his children, not Yosef's anymore. How can Yosef forgive for such a thing? Huh? It's a damage that was done for generations, not only for that time, not only when he was, and think about this also, when he was 17 years old, okay, he was poor, he was miserable, he suffered a lot, he went to Potiphar's house, it wasn't easy over there, but time passed. Now he's a king. Now he has a family. He has his wife, he has his children. His status changed, he became a king. It's easy to say, you know something? Forget about it. מה שהיה, היה לטובה. Okay? אתם חשבתם לי לרעה, you thought bad, Hashem turned everything to לטובה, to the good. I guess it's my destiny to be here, to come here earlier, to provide for you, and I will continue providing for you. Don't worry, everything is okay. But did he say, I forgive you? He never said that. Because it's not easy to forgive for such a thing.
Oh, right. So he never forgave.
So Rabbi Batia says that he never forgave, and the fact is that we know that he didn't forgive. All this decree of Aser Harogei Malchut was because of this. The big 10 rabbis, that one of them was Rabbi Akiva, that passed away on Yom Kippur. And in the end of Yom Kippur we say, Oz lo al tzaddik u'lishalev simcha. This is the initials of Rabbi Akiva that accepted upon himself Lamut al Kiddush Hashem, and it was to atone this sin, okay, of the 10 brothers that were selling Yosef HaTzadik. So
you're saying that Yosef, it still goes to Gan Eden just because
Yosef?
Yosef, right?
Yosef?
Yosef. He still goes to Gan Eden even though he doesn't forgive?
They didn't really ask for forgiveness the right way.
Oh.
And so he didn't forgive. It was hard for him to forgive. But yeah, he went to the Gan Eden. It's nothing to do with this. But because the damage was done and it was never fixed, then it had to come later on in a special generation where there were 10 very, very important rabbis, okay? And in that generation, Hashem decided that this is going to be the tikkun, the fixing for the selling of Yosef by his brothers. So it's not easy to forgive. I started to talk about this bride got married.
I think it all depends on a person, no?
It depends on the person. It depends if he works on his qualities, if he's willing to think about the other person as well, if he's willing. Yeah, it depends also on many.
Ego, yeah.
It's more of a
Yeah, ego.
Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes it's not ego. You have to understand.
Sometimes
People
it's
are
pain.
hurt. People
Pain.
are hurt, and it's hard for them to forgive. It's hard. It's hard for them to forgive.
Even to ask.
There was this girl that got engaged recently, and she really wanted this marriage to happen. She was willing to give for him all the way, to go for him. He lived in another country, to go to another country, to pay, to help out financially because he was Bachor Yeshiva, to help this, to help that, to do this, to do that. She was willing to take it upon herself, and all of a sudden he decided that he breaks this engagement. It was very hard for her to forgive for him.
Oh,
And we, from the outside, we say, so what? Forgive. What can happen? But we don't understand that it is hard. They are the only one that understand the pain. They are the only one that go through this. And it took her years until she was able to marry somebody else. But we cannot judge these people, and we cannot tell them anything. We cannot make a decision for them and say, you have to. It's up to them. So it depends. If you want somebody to forgive you, how you approach them, how many times you come to them, how you try to appease them so they will forgive you. Sometimes it's spending money. Yeah, if you have to buy a ticket and to go personally to this person, to his house, and to ask for forgiveness, to speak to his rabbis, maybe they can influence on him, maybe they could tell him and affect on him so he would forgive. There's all kind of ways to do. If you really want to appease somebody, there's a ways to do it. You don't say, okay, you didn't want to listen to me, it's his problem. No, it's our obligation. Yes, the rabbis say, don't be cruel. When somebody asks for your forgiveness, you have to forgive. But this is all what Yom Kippur is about. Yom Kippur, it says about Yom Kippur, אין יום הכיפורים מכפר עד שירצה את חברו. Okay? Because עבירות שבין אדם למקום, between us and Hashem forgives. On Yom Kippur, if you fast, if you repent, if you pray to Hashem forgives. But עבירות between us and other people, if you don't go and appease your friend, it's nothing to do with Hashem. Hashem doesn't forgive for this. And so that's what I say. From the other side, if somebody asks for you of your forgiveness, you try as much as you can to forgive. So many times Moshe Rabbeinu had problems with the Jewish nation. At a certain point, it says in Sefer Bamidbar that they complained, why do you take us out of Egypt? That's not fair. We don't like this man, we don't like this water, we don't like this, we don't like that. And Hashem was upset at them, and he punished them with all kind of snakes that came. They were beaten by these snakes. They came to Moshe, they realized that they were not right. And they asked him, please forgive us. Can you pray to Hashem that He's going to remove those serpents, those snakes away from us because we were wrong? And Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, prayed, and Hashem removed these snakes from them. And so happened to Abraham that Avimelech wanted his wife. And Hashem gave him he had all kind of disease. He couldn't go to the bathroom. It was so hard for him, this and that. And he asked himself, he came to Abraham, he says, please pray for me. I know that I was wrong to you. I know that I took your wife. It wasn't right. It wasn't this. And Abraham prayed. So this is what the Torah teaches us. מה זה מחילה? מחילה זה מלשון מחול. מחול in Hebrew is dance. מחול is when you go in circles. Circles, עיגול, מעגל, Mechila is turning back, going back to the root, to the way it was before. When people, when they do chet, מה זה chet? chet זה להחטיא. They miss the target. They get away from the road. They don't go in the right path. They go away, and Mechila is returning back, is doing tshuva. This is what Mechila is all about. There were two friends, and let's learn how exactly we should do the Mechila. Two businessmen that lived in Manhattan and had a dispute. And they decided that if we have a dispute, we will go to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. We will go to him and he is going to take care of our dispute. They said, no problem. So at a certain point, they had a problem. And they decided to go to the rabbi. But meanwhile, they had this, I don't know, a big amount of money, let's say $100,000, that they had a problem with this. Whose is it? Reuven's or Shimon's? They didn't know whose is it. So they decided that they go and give this money, for now, to a guy by the name Michael. Michael, he was learning to become shochet, a slaughterer, the one that slaughters. And he's doing his test now, and so he's trustworthy, they could trust him. They would hand to him the money meanwhile, and once the rabbi decides what to do, they will, either Reuven takes it or Shimon takes it, no problem. So they went they gave him the money, and Michael tells them, oh, that's a very interesting issue. Please tell me what the rabbi ruled on this. They said, fine. They went to the rabbi discussed it with them, and he ruled that Reuven needs to take the money. They go back to Michael, and they tell him Reuven needs to take it. He looks at his books, this Michael, big shot, and he tells, no, the rabbi is wrong. I think Shimon needs to take the money, not Reuven. And they, how dare you? Moshe Feinstein is the biggest rabbi. How can you speak about? How can you even dare thinking that you know better than him? No, this is what I think. He said, you cannot say such a thing. He's a big posek. He said, well, sometimes big poskim, they make wrong too. They make a mistake.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do with this, and they went back to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. And they asked him, what should we do? This is what he says. So he invited him personally. He called him. He says, please come. And he started explaining him, with a lot of patience, why he ruled a certain thing, why he decided that Reuven should take the money, not Shimon. And he keeps arguing with him. He says, no, I saw in my sources that it's not right. And the rabbi explains him this and that. He says, okay, I'll give you an answer. I'll go and check my sources first. It's a big chutzpah to speak like that to the rabbi, to the big rabbi. But he went. And he checked his sources, and he saw that the rabbi was right, not him. So he went to the rabbi, and he apologized. And he gave all the money back to Reuven, and everything was forgotten. Sometime later, he finished all his tests for the shchita that he wanted to learn, okay? And he made tests and everything, and he found a job. But in that place that he found the job, they wanted a recommendation letter from Rabbi Feinstein. So he goes back to the rabbi, and he tells him, Rabbi, I need a recommendation letter. The rabbi is sure. He tested him, he saw that he knows his stuff, and he gave him this recommendation letter, and he left. Now the household members were so furious. They say, Rabbi, that's a chutzpah. How come he came after questioning you, after disrespecting you, and ask for this recommendation letter? The rabbi said, yeah, you're right. And they say, why didn't you show him the door? This is what you had to do. He said, you're right. And then they keep complaining this and that. And the rabbi said, hey, don't forget that meanwhile, all this time, we had Yom Kippur. And I forgave this person. And if I forgave him, so I forgave him completely. Stop thinking about this. That's it. It's okay. Because whenever you forgive, you're supposed to forgive 100% with all your heart. Not like this woman that forgot that 50 years ago, her husband came late to the date, right? Yes, to the second date. So So when we forgive, we have to know what we're doing, and you don't just say, okay, I forgive everyone. It's hard to think about what you're saying, and if you really mean it, so it's fine. But if not, you have to. When you want to forgive, you want the other person to open a new page, because that's what Hashem does for us. Hashem, whenever He forgives us, He lets us open a new page completely. He doesn't forget. He doesn't remember. He tries. Hashem, wants us to start fresh.
But what if you want to have even though you forgive and you forget, and you want the other person to have a distance from you?
Okay, so you don't. You learn your mistake, okay, and you don't open yourself. You don't expose yourself emotionally to this person, not to get hurt again. That's fine. You forgave him for that, and my husband always tell me something like that, and it's so true. Whenever you deal with people, you think sometimes everyone has a different problem. This one has a problem with anger management. This has a problem with the family that he came from. This has a problem with low self-esteem. This is a problem that he doesn't have money. And because of this, they answer back, or they don't act the right way. Think about this. They're so miserable that they have to go through this.
But they're in your
and
house
it's because of
24/7,
this.
because once they get united with you, once they're with you, they're around you.
Mhm.
They don't let you breathe.
So if it's a very, very close member of family that you cannot really do anything about this, okay? So you discuss things, you talk about things
no
as
choice.
much as you can.
You have no choice.
Some family members we cannot choose. What can you do?
My husband says, put it in one ear, take it out from the other ear.
But if there are some people that you can have control, or how many times they should call your house, how many times they should visit you, how many times you should visit them, sometimes you don't take this initiative, you don't make stop to it because you're afraid what she's going to think of this, what my mother is going to think about this, what my sister is going to think
There's a person, like they have a grouch against you for no reason, and you're in the middle of that problem. Okay, they blame you because of the other people, and you're in the center. And in a way, I'm happy because I have my distance from that person. I love it, but on the other hand, I would like to fix it before Yom Kippur.
Right. So you go and you tell this person in a sincere way that if she was hurt from whatever you said or whatever you ask for forgiveness, and Be'ezrat Hashem, what is the levels of tshuva? Okay, you repent, you don't want this to happen again, and you decide upon yourself not to do it again, and you really, how do we know that you do tshuva? When another circumstance like that happen, and you hold yourself, and you don't answer back, and you don't insult back, you don't, whatever, this is when you know that you did tshuva. When you feel, Bella, that you did all this, you are clean. Whatever they think about you, and you came and you asked for forgiveness, and she said that you forgave and everything, so you're okay with this, you're clean. Whatever they think, how much they remember, it's not your problem anymore.
No, Robinson, these people, they don't have a Torah, We have a Torah, we learn, but they don't have this.
They have no concept.
They have no concept,
Okay. Okay.
And it's harder to convince them.
Yes,
overall.
they don't understand these things. We have the same,
But from the other way, they don't understand the depth of things too. We are very fine as we doing our mitzvot. We're very
We
careful.
know the consequences.
They don't.
Yeah,
They don't know.
The consequence is something else already.
What if it's like, it feels like it's a ritual every year, same thing, and then there's no meaning behind
Nachon.
it.
If there's no meaning to it, it means it's not true. You just do it because you do it.
No, but maybe I mean it because I learned, but the person that I'm asking for forgiveness for, they don't learn, and they don't. They just say forgive, but I don't know,
Or they
what's
say
really
the opposite.
inside is.
Or they tell you like, oh, let God forgive you. I'm like, oh wow.
Because they know that the God exists.
Yeah.
Oh, יפה.
חודו מחולו.
חודו חודש מחילו
חודו חודש מחולו.
Hey, they don't say I forgive
I
you.
never.
So they don't know. They don't
And
know.
they say that they should
And
say
then I
3
tell
times.
them, you have to say, I forgive you. And they're like, okay, teach me,
They
teach
don't
me.
know. Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah, it's from ignorance. It's true. So yeah, when we pray every day to Hashem, in 18 we say חנון המרבה לסלוח, נכון? מה זה חנון המרבה לסלוח? For us, human being, if somebody made wrong to you, somebody stepped on your toe, and you say, ouch, and it hurts, and he says, I'm sorry, you say, okay, fine, no problem. When he steps again on your toe, okay. When he steps 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you don't want to forgive anymore. Mazel, you're making fun of me? But Hashem, it says, Chanun. Chanun means chanina. He gives amnesty. Even though you don't worthy, he forgives you. Hamarbe lisloach. He forgives you many times, not only one time. As many times
I
as
don't understand how it works.
this is Hashem. We don't understand the way that Hashem works, because by us we are limited in our midot, in our way that we conduct with people. We're limited. I forgave you, that's it. But by Hashem, there is no limit to His mercy, and this chanina, this rachamim, comes from this attribute of mercy that there is no limit to it, because this is Hashem. And if He forgives, and He wants to forgive, He can forgive 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. To the same person, He forgives. He doesn't have problem with this. This is why Hashem asks us every year, do tshuva. Not all the time. Do tshuva, and I will accept. Don't worry. Just do tshuva. Just come back to me. So we human beings, we remember all kind of grudges that we have. We remember all kind of insults that people insulted us. We don't want to forget. It's our problem. There was this true story that happened in Tafshin Samech Vav, about 12 years ago. There was this guy from Israel that he is a charity collector, I guess, Gabbai Tzedakah, that goes from Israel. He collects for a very big institution in Bnei Brak, yeshiva or something. And he used to have a